What's up? What's up? What's up? What we all doing? Let me just get a moment here. Get a little bit confused sometimes. Am I live now? There we go. Get this one done. All right. All right. What's up, y'all? When you guys come in, give me a little something in the chat over here to the right. Let me know you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about agency productization. In the past, I've done a lot of content around why you need to productize, which we'll cover a little bit here in today. But really what I want to talk about is how you can productize. Because I feel like a lot of times out here, when people are out here creating content, it's really all a little bit of fluff. I actually want to get down to the nitty gritty and actually show you how you can literally go through the steps, how we teach it in the blueprint to all of our customers to take something that's very complex, like an SEO service, and distill it down into very simple, very easy to follow processes. So I'm going to let some more people join in. Again, as you come in, go ahead and hit the chat on YouTube. Let me know you're here. Tell me what's up. Tell me what's good. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everybody knows. Everybody knows we're live here on YouTube. And yeah, send it out. Cool. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen here. It's a little bit complex. A little bit complex with everything. I'm still a little bit new here to the YouTube game here, so just bear with me. All right. So I got my deck up. If y'all can see it, go ahead and let me know in the comments here on YouTube that you can see the deck. Again, let me know you're here. YouTube is a little bit weird with the usernames here, so go ahead and hit the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know what's up. And we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So as I said, I talk a lot about productization for our agency. It has been literally probably the biggest driver of our growth over the last 2 years. Essentially what it means is taking something that's very, very complex, like search engine optimization, especially when we're talking about delivering it to clients at scale, all the different things that go into it. It can be a bit of a nightmare. What's up, Water Resto? So productization is basically the process of distilling that down into very simple, easy to follow processes and literally taking your service and turning it into a product. So if you haven't seen it, I have a video on this YouTube channel that's 20 reasons why you should productize your service. Go ahead and watch that after this. This video is going to be the how. What's up, y'all? Keep letting me know you're here. I'm a little bit delayed here, left and right. So I'm going to go ahead and get to your comments as they come in, but go ahead, leave me comments, leave me questions, tell me what's up. And I'm going to just go ahead and breeze through this deck. What's up, Pete? Everybody, what's up? Welcome. Again, new to live here on YouTube a little bit. There's a little bit more delay. I'm used to doing these directly on Zoom. So anyways, let's get into the presentation. Let's talk about how. So before we talk about that, real quick for context, for those of you who did not see the previous video, what is a productized service? So I have two definitions of it. Let me go back here real quick. So from a customer's perspective, a productized service offers a specialized, done-for-you solution with a compelling value proposition packaged at a set price, duration, and scope. Essentially what it means is taking a service and turning it into a product. So just like you would go and, I don't know, order a Bic lighter on a website, hypothetically, you could do the same thing with your service. Now, it's very complex. That's a lot easier said than done when it comes down to it. And especially from the founder's perspective, there's a lot of nuances there, right? So what does this mean to you as a founder? What this means, and this is huge, a productized service is one that runs systematically and continues to produce and grow with or without your direct involvement, as a founder. The reason why I'm able to sit here and take 2 hours out of the middle of my day in the crazy agency life is because we have a productized service. I've been able to bring in the right people, the right clients. We're able to drastically reduce the work that we have to do for clients without changing the output. And I'm going to talk through that whole process here. And I'm going to walk you through specifically how to productize your service. And it doesn't have to be for SEO. There's a lot of folks that we get questions with the blueprint. Obviously, we specialize in working with SEO agencies, but in reality, anybody can productize. You don't even have to be an agency. Shit, you could be an attorney. You could put together a productized service if you're an attorney. Anything in the service-based business, right? If you're a roof cleaner, you could do it too, right? You could just come up with a set package that's like, hey, for, 100 square feet of roof cleaning, it's going to be, I don't know, $200, whatever it looks like, right? And then you have a set package that comes with it. So I'm going to unpack all that stuff. Again, I'm going to let you guys keep coming in here and leave me some comments, leave me some questions as we go through it. So I usually like to use these two graphics here too. On the left is Ford, the Model T. On the right is McDonald's. Really two companies that over 100 years ago really pioneered this model of basically, again, instead of doing everything custom, right, and everything off the shelf, just turning it into a streamlined service. And again, focusing on the output instead of necessarily the input of what we put into it. So are y'all ready? I'm going to get into the 6 things that you can do in terms of how to productize, right? So the first thing that we have to do, and again, pretend we're starting from scratch here, right? You got an agency, you're doing SEO, you're doing Facebook ads, whatever that is, right? We're going to start all the way down from the basics. Number 1 is all about positioning. So you probably heard me talk about this before. We've got a ton of content on market positioning. Positioning is all about the who, right? Who are you servicing? Who are you targeting? And really, what problems are you helping them solve, right? So you can't productize if you are not specifically working with a singular who or a singular set of problems. Because if you're trying to do everything for everyone, if you're doing e-commerce SEO for a Shopify store, and then you get an attorney in on, I don't know, a WordPress website, and then you get a Wix website, like it's too much changing and stopping and going and changing processes. You can't productize something like that. It's got to be set on a specific who. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of agencies whose positioning that I love. That's not us, because you've seen our stuff before. I use this example all the time. This is rankings.io. Chris Dreyer. They do I think they're doing $2 million a month now, if I'm not mistaken, if not more. They're crushing it. Chris, I've done a lot of work with Chris, helping with acquisition, actually put them through the blueprint. They crush it. They are very, very specific and very clear about who they work with. The SEO agency of choice for elite law firms, right? Very, very specific, very targeted. This is on their homepage, right? And specifically PI lawyers too. They've gone through this process of understanding in terms of the who of that they're working with within the attorney space, who are the best prospects that they want to work with. And that's PI firms because of what they can charge, which is allow them to go up market and a whole bunch of things. But that all started with Chris drawing a line in the sand saying, no, I'm not going to work with that e-commerce store that wants to pay me $100,000 a month. That's not what we do. I don't even know if I can service you, because that's not what our process is built for. That's not what we've hired for. That's not why I wear a suit and tie every day, because we work with attorneys, etc. It starts with who. And I know that's really hard, especially if you're just beginning, because you feel like you're cutting yourself off at the knees, right? You feel like, if I don't work with that e-commerce store, I'm losing money. But in reality, I promise you, you're making more money because you're getting your time back. Because to go and take on a new client that you've never worked with before, you don't have the processes for, you got to figure out on the fly, the amount of mental bandwidth that takes detracts from your other clients. It detracts from your marketing. It detracts from your acquisition, instead of just focusing in, referring that business out to somebody else and focusing on your core who. And that's all about positioning. Another great example is Directive Consulting. They specialize in working with software companies. And what I love here, about their website is that they don't say, hey, we work with SaaS. What they do is they use language and copy very specifically to help carve out their positioning. So what their headline here says, reach goals that others couldn't, find opportunities that others miss, hit your SQL targets every time. That is a beautiful example of SQLs being a language of SaaS, right? Talking about lead generation, talking about B2B, right? They're qualifying who they're talking to with the copy that they're using without just saying, hey, we work with SaaS companies, right? So very good use. Directive, I think, I don't want to speak for them. I think that they might be doing about 50 million in revenue this year. They crush it. Garrett, we've had on the podcast before in the past, really smart kid, really crushing it. And he would be the first to tell you. I remember we actually had him on 2 years ago when Directive, I think, was doing about a fifth of what they were doing. And he got to start on Fiverr, and he will be the first one to tell you that their growth is directly started with the positioning of SaaS. And then what's next that we're going to talk about is building an offer specifically for that position, right? So he built an offer that really combines all search engine marketing, organic and PPC, specifically geared towards demand generation for SaaS companies. They have exploded, and that's one of the big reasons why. What's up, y'all? Let me know that y'all are here. Go ahead, keep commenting. I know there's only 30 or so here. Just keep coming. Give me some words of encouragement over here. I'd love to hear from you. So within the Blueprint training, how do we teach you how to do this? Well, we have a workbook. We've got a ton of trainings and videos that dive specifically into how you can select your positioning. And the way that works is we basically ask you a ton of questions. You go through, you talk about your experience, you talk about things that you had success with in the past, Again, if you want access to this document, it's only available for our clients in the Blueprint training, but this is an incredibly valuable exercise that gets you thinking about the who. It gets you thinking about who you're servicing and how you can impact their business and top line. So that's the first one, right? All about positioning, all about understanding who you're servicing, all about them, right? As agencies, we tend to want to talk about us. We do this, we do that. Not about us, it's about them. It's about who they are and the problems that they're having. And that's all about offer creation. So part one is all about who we're targeting. Part two is all about understanding the problems that they are having in building our offer, building our entire service, building our productized service around that problem, around that pain point. This is another exercise that we use and we teach and we coach within the Blueprint training about offer design, right? So the sprints program that you all see that everyone loves and people are crushing it with, we've done all this for you, right? We've identified the offer, that we help you with positioning, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're going to go through this on your own, which again, we teach and coach in the Blueprint, because we understand not all you guys are SEO agencies, not all you guys want to do sprints. Some of you guys want to take our model and customize it, which we highly, highly encourage, and we help you do that within the program. With that being said, what we have is we have this offer design process, right? And this offer design process is all about, again, who, that your customer, who you're targeting, where they are now, and what is their dream outcome, and what are the problems that they're having? What are the problems that you are going to help them solve? I actually had this conversation today with my media buyer because our agency specializes in working with SaaS companies, right? SaaS SEO, that's what we want to do. That's where our money is. That's what we're really good at. Understanding the nuances of what a SaaS company is and the problems that they're specifically having, and tailoring our service and our offer to solve those problems, right? So an example of that is, we're talking about a SaaS company versus like an attorney or an e-commerce store or a local roofer, right? SaaS companies are usually much higher up in terms of their level of understanding. So the language that we use, that's why when I showed you direct consulting, they're not like, hey, we do SaaS search engine optimization. No, they're like, we help you hit your SQL goals. That's a perfect example of using language in building an offer and crafting around the problem that they're having. SaaS marketers, SaaS companies are all about SQLs, with sales qualified leads. That's their main KPI. That's their main metric. They don't care about traffic. They don't care about rankings. They care about hitting their SQL goals. That's why the offer from Directive is built all around that problem, that pain point of not being able to hit their SQL goals. You compare that to an attorney probably cares a little bit more about first place rankings. If you go look at rankings website, it talks more about getting to first place. Why? Because if I'm being blunt, attorneys are a little bit more arrogant and they care about beating their competitors more than necessarily making their phone ring. That's a general statement. But again, it's all about understanding who and the language that they speak, and then crafting your offer around their pain points, right? What problems are they having? So again, going back to the SaaS model, right? I know that they care about SQL, sales qualified leads. They're not that big on like ranking first for a specific keyword. They care a lot more about strategy. They probably have a content writer in-house. They understand link building. You're not going to be able to build garbage PBN links to them, right? You're probably going to have to do more of a PR type link building stuff, right? So this is how you take and tailor this based on the needs of your specific who. And that's why so many of you guys are failing and not growing at the rate that you would like to grow at, because you've never gone through this exercise of really understanding the who and then contextualizing your offer to the who. So again, this is something that we teach and coach within the Blueprint training. We have this whole amazing program on offer design. It's all about understanding where they are now, what pain points, what problems are they having, what jobs need to be done on a daily basis, and what do they want to get to, right? Hitting their SQL goals, ranking first, whatever that looks like. And then what are the specific things that you can do to help them get there? That's really it, right? So we talk about something like SEO. This is boiled down very simply, but it's like technical analysis, content creation, link building, something like that at a very simple level, right? Where are they now? They have no traffic. Where does that get them to? It helps them get them more traffic and rankings within Google and more customers, right? Very, very rudimentary point of view. Again, I've got a ton of examples in this inside the Blueprint training for customers that go through it. Now, some examples of what this leads to, we call this our offer statement, right? So this would be an example one for the Blueprint, for our agency Webris. So if I go back, right, we understand where they are, where they want to get to, and then the pillars along the way that help them get there, right? This kind of becomes what our service is, which I'll talk about in a second. But we want to turn this into an offer statement, which works great as a headline. Who is it for? What do they want? How do they get it? We help who? B2B companies, SaaS companies. What do they want? Increase leads, increase SQLs, rank first in Google, from Google through short-term SEO sprints. How do they get it? That's what's underlined here through our short-term SEO sprints, right? Very, very simple offer statement that qualifies. When somebody sees this, they know exactly what we do. They know exactly who we're speaking to, and it either repels them, which is what we want, or it attracts them in, right? The people that we attract in are going to be much more likely to close because they understand that we specialize in working with them. And we have an offer that's built specifically for who they are, for what they want, and we're very clear about how they get it. This ties in perfectly when it comes to productizing a service. So A couple of examples that I love in the market, Case Study Buddy. This is run by Joel Klecki. He was also a guest on our podcast a couple of years ago. Case Study Buddy, they just write case studies for B2B companies, right? If you're an agency, you need case studies. If you're a SaaS company, you need case studies. They have a productized service. Their offer is built specifically for this to just take care of that problem, right? You know, as a B2B company, you need case studies, but getting them done is a hassle, right? Chasing down clients, getting interviews, writing it up, publishing it, designing it. They can take care of all of that. Their offer is literally built. You go back here, where are they now, where they need to be? Dream outcome is being able to provide social proof to prospects in advertising and marketing. Where are they now? They're just overwhelmed with the amount of work that needs to be done. So what do? They interview your prospects, they write it up, they film video, and they design and build the page for you. Boom, that's how they get you where they need to be. Very simple. And now it's productized, and that's all that they do. And they have a very simple set pricing. They have very easy to understand scope, and it's all clearly understood from the website. What's up, y'all? If you have any questions, please here drop me in the, wow, that was backwards. Please drop them in the comments over here on YouTube. I'll get to them as we ride through this. Another great one that I love, this is in the SEO space, Marie Haynes Consulting. She has been long known before as a penalty recovery expert, right? So she has built productized audits, productized services around that, site quality assessments, algorithm analysis, penalty recoveries. You can see here starting price and what's included. I cut it off in the screenshot, but again, this is a perfect example of a productized service. That's a beautiful offer for companies that are having a pain point. What's the pain point? We lost traffic, we got penalized. Okay, where do you want to get to? Well, we want to get our traffic back. So what do? Bang, what's included? Bang, bang, bang. Audit, cleanup, submission, whatever that looks like. And then it's a very set price, easy to clean, easy to comprehend, easy to understand, easy decision to make as a prospect too. I have that problem. I understand that that cost is going to return more. Boom, where do I sign up? Let's go. So that's an example of who, right? Who are we targeting, building your market positioning. And then number two, which is creating an offer that solves that problem, a compelling offer that solves that problem. So the next part up here is building out a mind map. So a mind map here, I apologize, I was going to show you this live, but I actually lost access to the software, our payment lapse. I didn't have time to fix it today. So this is actually a video from within the Blueprint training. If you're a Blueprint member, you get access to all this content. I show you literally over the shoulder how to mind map. And what mind mapping is literally just taking what we have here, right? These things, and then exploding them out into basically sub processes. So again, we go back to Case Study Buddy, for example, right? We said the first step, thing one is interviewing your customers, interviewing past customers, right? Thing two is writing. Thing three is filming the video. Thing four is designing and developing the page. All of these things now need to be blown out because this is just kind of like the high level steps, but then we get into the mind map, right? And we blow it out. So again, you see here, content promotion. What I was doing here is just blowing these out. What takes place within these things? So again, going back to that Case Study Buddy example, what we put right in here is the core problem or the dream scenario. So if this is, like polished case studies for sales team, that's what will go here. Step one, this would be interview prospects. And then within that, it would be like build list of prospects, craft email, run by client to make sure they're good with it. Send email, respond to emails. We blow that out, boom. And these can even break down even to more, right? Into different sub processes within that. The point here is not to be perfectly polished in terms of like a beautiful SOP right now. This is just flushing everything out. We want to get all the spaghetti on the roll. This is like a virtual whiteboard. We want to get everything out. So that way we can start to organize it and actually turn this into a service. So this mind mapping process, it's pretty tedious, because you're just exhaustively just pumping everything out. But once you have everything there, then you can visualize and you can start to prioritize and you start to build around that. Does that make sense? Go ahead and drop me some comments. Let me know that that is making sense. So after we have that done, what we are going to do is simplify and processize. So like I just said, I like to get everything out there, get everything on the board. And then what I start to do is I'll start to strip them away, simplify it. And we turn that into a process. So for example, here, let me actually just pull this up so I can show you guys. Oh, so this is we use Lucidchart to basically kind of build and design processes. This is the SEO sprint business model. So basically what I'll do here, let me just pardon me for 1 second while I get my shit together. There we go. All right. So basically what you're looking at here is the result of a completed mind map, right? And now, so like, for example, in the mind map that I had all these different things. I had like, client onboarding, project planning, website quality. These were all things that I needed to get done. But now putting into Lucidchart, now it's a process. Now it's connected. Now it's in the exact order that it needs to be, right? So essentially all that we're doing is we're taking that mind map that was flooded of all these different ideas, and then we're taking that and we're putting it in order, right? In terms of what needs to be done and when, and then we'll basically blow it out into kind of like the little sub processes here. So for example, right? Lead generation, sales, after the client is closed, they go through this client onboarding process, right? So what needs to happen within there? We create a Google Drive folder, we send them an onboarding email, we get account accesses, send discovery questions, and then we have an internal project kickoff as a meeting, right? That's done, boom, then it goes into project planning. Set the project plan, communicate internally, and then we have the client kickoff call. And then after that's done, then we go into the website quality audit, blah, 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 all the way down the line, right? So this is our full process of what we do, and really broken down to by color coded in terms of the sprint. So you can see exactly how we're running our sprint model. So this now, first this started off with, okay, literally all the way back here with, again, the pain point that our prospects were having, the dream scenario that we wanted to get them to, turn that into a mind map. And then now we turn that into a process. So now, again, what we have is process completed. And now it's starting to take shape. Now it's starting to turn into a service. Now we're starting to see how this can be productized. And this is another good time to go through and strip out the things that are not driving towards the goal. So what do I mean by that? If a client, the pain point that we're solving is SQLs. The client wants sales qualified leads. If there's things in here that we're doing that do not directly map to that, like if we're doing a competitor analysis, but the competitor analysis doesn't drive more leads, strip it out. We don't need it. That's part of productizing. Part of productizing is stripping away the things that you don't need, because from an internal point of view, we don't want to have waste. We don't want to have cruft. We don't want to be doing things that are not ultimately driving towards that goal, right? So this is a good opportunity to go through and strip this down, simplify it, and then build it into a streamlined process. This is literally how sprints were born. Exactly. Telling you the story of how we built a multi-million-dollar business in a 20-minute period here on YouTube for free, right? So after we have gone through the mind map and then we've built out the processes, again, we use Lucidchart. Now it's time to build a project plan template. So again, let me just pull open the one that we give folks in the blueprint. This is only available to those of y'all who want to pay for it. I'm going to delete that so you can't see it. Okay, so this right here, what you're looking at is our sprints project plan. This is a project plan template. So literally all I do here is I'll start with a blank template like this, and I'll literally just list out based on the process that we have here, right? So client onboarding, right? These are the things that we need to get done in there, project planning, website quality, all the way through. Literally just transposing that into a project plan template. And now what we have here, so you can see literally basically GA and GSC review, then we have a kickoff call, run the website quality audit, run the competitor keyword analysis, run the content workbook, blah, blah, etc. And what's really cool about this too, just a quick sales pitch, is that, again, we give this all to you. And then within the blueprint training, literally links directly to all the things that you need to see exactly how to do it. Here's how to do an analytics review. Underneath it is the template. Boom, make a copy of it. Everything that you need. This is literally, I've said it a million times, an SEO agency in a box, everything that you need here. Plus we give you all the templates, all the tools, training videos, etc. Right? Point is, that's my little pitch. Point is that now we have a service, right? Now that we have this project plan, this is all that we do. This is 100% all that we do. We do not do anything at our agency. We make a lot of money at our company, and this is all that we do. We run the spreadsheet over and over again. That's it. We just run it over and over and over again. People are paying for it over and over and over again. There's no customization. The only way we customize this is by stripping things down. So for example, if they already have keyword research done and they provided it to us, boom, we'll rip that out. We don't charge them less, because it's, again, they're not paying us to do the work. They're not paying us for the inputs. That's a very important part about productization that I want you all to understand, is that people aren't paying you for deliverables. They're not paying you to do more work. That's a huge common misconception, a huge common fallacy with agencies, is that you're like, I have to do more to get paid more. I want to go up market. I want to charge more. I got to do more. I got to learn more deliverables. I got to learn the latest trips. No, you don't. You just need to know how to solve that one problem for that one client that you're working with. If you know how to get a software company more SQLs, if you know how to rank an attorney first in Google, that's a multi-million-dollar, guys, that's a I'm going to say this 5 times, a multi-million-dollar business right there. That's it. Stop complicating it. You don't need to do more than that. In fact, the less that you do, the better, because then you have more time to focus on the process. Once you have this done, you have all these things documented, you have a business. Now you just need to go sell it. This is all that you're doing. This becomes easier to staff. You can see we literally only have 2 internal roles here. We have an SEO strategist and a content strategist, and the rest for link building, we offshore. We just outsource that pretty much, So we only have 2 roles that run this business for us. And I'm going to say one more time, this is a multi-fucking-million-dollar business that we're running. And this is all that we're doing. This is 100% of everything that we're doing. We do nothing else. Nothing else. You will never see us add to this. This is a literal copy and paste job. Boom, done. And I know that if we get through this, I know if we do this, then we're going to make our clients more money. And that's the type of confidence that you have, because when you take on a custom piece of work, you're like, oh, God, I don't know how this is going to end up. I mean, I get it too. I consider myself a very, very, very good marketer, very good marketer. But when somebody comes to me and they've got a really complex business and I've never worked in it before, I'm like, look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I can get you results because I've never done this before. But if I'm selling them this, then I can look them in the eyes and say, I'm gonna make you more money. If you pay us what we need to be paid, we're gonna make you more money. I can't guarantee, because there's no guarantees with Google, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, because I've done this, my team has done this 1,000 times. Look at our track record, look at all the things that we've done it for. And this is it. I literally show this to people on calls. And you might think that it might push them away because another agency's out there being like, yeah, we're going to do all this and this and that. I'm like, no. I don't bullshit with people. I tell them what it is. You're not paying us to do deliverables. If you want to go have an agency who's going to do like crazy and cool and cute deliverables and waste your fucking time and sit on meetings, get out of here. Don't work with us. That's not what we do. We get your results. You want more traffic, you want more customers, then we're your team. That's it. This is the whole pitch, right? So it's very simple. It's very stripped down, and man, it works, right? So the final piece of this is, after you have this done, now it's time to document with SOPs. And this is where, everyone comes to us, they're like, hey, like, you're really good with SOPs. How do you build SOPs? I'm like, SOPs are easy. It just falls in line with, I'm just literally documenting everything that I put before, right? So for example, this is the SOP that we have, and we give to everyone the blueprint to run the website quality audit. It literally defines everything that we need. It defines a step-by-step process, everything that they need. And then we also have the video training and all the templates that go along with it. So like, when people ask me what the blueprint training is, I'm like, the blueprint training is one large SOP. That's what it is. It's one large SOP for how we run our agency. It's got the templates that we use, it's got the video trainings over the shoulder, and it's got written SOPs to teach you everything that you need. And that's why our agency runs so smoothly. That's why I don't trip if like, we have to replace someone or hire somebody new, because I'm like, yeah, just put them through the blueprint. We're good. Everything in there's need. Everything that they need is in there. And let me actually show you something that we're doing in Notion too. So if any of you guys are familiar with Notion, it's kind of like a combination of notes and I don't know, like notes and Asana, I guess would be a good way to put it. But this is I told you we specialize in software, right? Let me close these things. Y'all in my business like this. So we have everything that we need in here. This is a full process. We literally link out. So like week 1, the onboarding process, we showed all this, right? This is literally an SOP of how we run our service. Set up new client suite. Here's the PM tracker that we use. This is literally the exact same. I'm showing you right now our agency's internal project management tracker. This is the exact same one that we give you in the blueprint. Looks the same, right? Same as this. Boom, this is just a template. So everything is literally in here. Client onboarding email, literally copy and paste this email. This is the same one that we give in the blueprint. Literally the exact same way that we run our service. Here's the client onboarding. Here's the client onboarding template. Literally every single thing is in here, right? And we go into content creation, blah, blah, all this stuff. We then also got all these awesome templates, these page brief templates. So these are built specifically for SaaS. Again, we give you these page brief templates in the blueprint. These are just customized to SaaS. So these are literally copy and paste job to create content, to create article roadmaps. Our entire agency is in here. This is it, right? So that's actually pretty much it. That's everything I've got. I'll go ahead, start asking some questions. I'm going to go back up, starting to answer some of these questions for y'all. Now is a good time to start asking questions. I'm happy to give you guys a ton more time and go through, but that's how, like, it's really not that complicated. People want to overcomplicate things in terms of what you need to do to productize and all that type of stuff. But that's it. I literally showed you the process. That's literally right there for free on YouTube. That's how to build a multi-million-dollar service-based business. Cool. It's easy, it's fast, and it's effective. Cool. So Ronan asks, would you make your system mind map and then cut it down to bare bones? Yeah, that's exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's your question. So that's exactly what we do. Again, the mind map is really to get everything out there, to push everything out there. Again, like throwing every single piece of spaghetti at the wall and then, dragging it around to see what fits, stripping out things that you don't need. I have amazing training inside the blueprint training. For those of you who are blueprint members, please go through the productization module. I teach you how to do this step by step. It's really amazing stuff. I have the blueprint training old version. Which course do you keep mentioning? This is for this going to sleep. This is for the SEO sprint stuff. So that's it, y'all. Go ahead, give me some questions. We don't have to talk about productization. We can talk about whatever you want. I'm here for you to chat, to see what's up. Y'all want to talk about the weather? I'm down for that too. But you know, there's a little bit of a drag and a delay here, so I'll let you guys kind of get your stuff together. But feel free to fire away in the comments. If not, I had a good time. This was a very productive video for me. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. It's a super important topic as well. And I hope you guys take heed of this. So Hector Lopez asked, how long does it take the average agency owner to productize and automate? That's a good question, but a difficult one to ask because everyone's a little bit different here, right? So I would say it took, I can tell you what it took us. It took us a good 6 months of planning, of building, of coaching, teaching, and training our team and getting buy-in from our team. That's another big thing too, right? When you make a big switch like this, like your team is comfortable doing something, you've really got to sell them on it. It's not just because it's not top down, just whatever we say goes, because you know your team is doing something that works for them. They don't change is tough for internal teams. And then on top of that, basically what we did is we didn't roll this out to everyone. We let our current clients that were on retainer just kind of graduate through, but we started pitching it right away. And that's when we really we're like, shit, dude, we're onto something. When we started pitching this and our close rates, we were closing way more deals way faster. That was when we're like, all right, now we're pushing all in on sprints. And again, that's when our agency really started growing fast in every single, we haven't had a less than 6-figure month since then. Mike Octagon asked, how do you find decent teams to offshore to? 3 ways. So in terms of teams, I don't hide. So when I say offshore to, this is a really good question, Mike. I actually have a really good blog post on this, right? There's nuances to outsourcing offshore, right? When I say offshore, I basically mean I'm going and finding somebody from another country to work for us full-time as a contractor, right? When I say outsource, that means I give it to an entire other company or a vendor, right? So link building, for example, we do not do outreach anymore. And if anybody's doing outreach in here, that should be the only thing that you're doing, because if you're an SEO agency doing outreach, it's completely waste your time and you're literally setting money on fire. You're just making things way more difficult for yourself. We use vendors, so we outsource the actual outreach, right? We outsource the actual link acquisition part, but I offshore the PM management of it. So we have 2 link, basically like PMs that we have a process. This is all in the blueprint too, guys. By the way, the link building module inside sprints, we teach all this. We have a checklist that they go through to evaluate links. So the only vendors that we work with are link vendors that provide us the links ahead of time. So that way we can vet them for quality. So every single link that we build is top notch, and we just pay the vendor to do the outreach and to secure the link. And then we have our link PM who basically puts that into our internal project management tracker, which then gets pushed to the clients for reporting. So the clients see all the links that we built. So when it comes to finding those people, I use Upwork, I use LinkedIn, and I use the Blueprint Jobs channel. That's it, right? And it's much easier when you have a training program like the Blueprint, because literally when we need to hire somebody new, I give them the link module. And I'm like, go watch this, fill out all the documentation, and set a meeting up with me on Monday, and we're going to review it and talk through it. I'm going to answer any questions that you have, and then I'm going to push you to the wolves and see how you do. That's how we find, hire, and train. Very super simple, especially when you have this program. Mitchell asked, can you share the deck? Yes, I will share the deck. Send a DM to Ann afterwards on Slack and she'll get it to you. Lloyd asked, you missed a little bit of the beginning, but you're suggesting moving away from monthly retainers, correct? I am, Lloyd. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. There's a video, Lloyd, on this channel called Why Productize, and that will run you through all the reasons why I think that. And it's mainly because like retainers are hard to sell. Nobody wants a retainer. You have to think for example. I'm going to give you an example right now. Actually, just got off a call. I only do 1 consulting client per year. I'm going to very large consulting retainer with a very large brand. And they're going through a lot of internal growth and all sorts of things, right? $100 million plus company. The past 2 months, I haven't been doing shit. But they still look at you because I need them to work through the things that I'm working on. But I'm also the type of person where I'm like, if you guys aren't engaged, I'm going to disengage too. And I just had a call with their team, and the call, literally they showed up and I was like, hey, like the people that were supposed to show up didn't show up. It was basically just me and 2 assistants. They were taking notes. I'm like, I'm not going to do this call, guys. Like, I am not going to waste my time if you're not going to invest in this too. And that's the problem with retainers, is that every single week, every single month, I have to show up and do something, and it's stupid, as opposed to having a set start and end and a specific goal that we're working towards, right? Because now I'm stuck, in all these different projects that are, half fire burning, half in, half out. It's just much easier to be like, I'm actually switching the contract to a project-based contract where it's like, okay, you want me to help you set up an influencer program? That's going to be 50 grand. This is when we're going to start. This is when you can expect it to end. As opposed to getting on a meeting and being like, hey, maybe we should do influencers this month or something like that. And then half in, half out. Like, I don't do that anymore. So look, retainers are good when there's a lot of ongoing work, like there was in the beginning of this contract 8 months ago. But now that we've gotten through so much stuff, now we're in an uncomfortable position where find myself having to sing for my supper and them feeling the need to push on me because they're like, yo, we're paying this dude a lot of money every month. So like, we need to give him stuff. It's not the best relationship when there's not a massive flow of work, right? And that's why if you go all the way back to the beginning here, and we're talking about specializing with a single type of client, we're talking about solving a single problem, right? You don't need to be on a retainer every month for that. It's stupid. It's like, it always comes up to burn you. It causes a lot of stress and anxiety. And if it's not you, it's your team. Like when I first started working in this game, I was working for a company called Sapient Nitro, and we were on retainers, like $1 million a month with these massive companies, right? And they would put the junior money on the totem pole, which was me 15 years ago at that time, on the calls with a client. And I would every week have to like look at data and like come up with insights and then get on the call only to get shellacked by the client who's like, no, this isn't good enough. Where's this? Where's that? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm fucking 22 years old, man. What do you want from me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will forever resent that company because like they put me in a position to fail every single week and didn't give a shit. They didn't give a fuck about what I thought. They didn't give a shit about my feelings and my personality. Like none of that. Now my team, I'll never do that to my team. I don't put them on a call unless there's a defined goal for that call. We're reviewing X, right? Period. And we only get one, like we don't do like an ongoing monthly call, like ongoing retainers. It's just causes a whole bunch of problems that like, I'm here to like, I am not here to send you spreadsheets and talk to you about it. That's not what I want to do. That's not how I want to run my business. That's not achieving any sort of goal. That's a circle jerk. And that's not a business that I want to be in. A lot of agencies do that. I totally understand it and respect it, but most of that's coming from fear of losing revenue, fear of like losing that recurring, instead of just being really, really good at what you do and being so good at what you do that more people want to work with you. That's what this is really about, is that we're stripping down what we're doing to focus on solving a core problem. Yes, we're doing less work. Yes, we're taking a slightly smaller amount. Yes, we're getting off recurring work, kind of, but like we're doing good work and we're helping people and we're having an impact. And now our referrals are up like 60%, something crazy because of that. So we have more leads. We're closing more of those leads. Those people know exactly what they're coming in for. They know exactly what they're getting. And the way that we built our sprint system is that we're reselling content and links. So essentially, when you're in an SEO contract, you get into month six, what are you doing? Content and links. But the client's like, yo, we're not like, the first 2 months you were doing 10 times the amount of work. Now we're paying you all this money to do a quarter of the work. No. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do this. Like you go assist in that. Like, no, we don't do that. Like that's like, I'm a grown ass man. I don't do that stuff. So we are selling them content and links, but that's all they're getting on a recurring basis. So we're still getting that recurring revenue, but we don't have to do anything else because they're not paying us for anything else. So let me know if that makes sense, right, Lloyd? So yes, we have moved away. Casper asked, when do you determine that your service is productized? I determine that the service is productized when we're doing the same thing over and over again, right? And it's stripped down, it's effective, it's streamlined, it's faster, the clients are happy, just all the above. The results are there, everything. Like there's no real definition for it in terms of that, but it's, I mean, you kind of know, right? Because literally, if you're making a copy and paste to your project plan over and over again, then you're productized. That's how I know. Casper says, how and if do you implement your SEO service being productized in your marketing and sales? For example, different copywriting, landing pages, etc. So those would all be in your market. Oh, so like in terms of our marketing and sales, we don't productize our marketing and sales for our brand. Everything's custom. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing right now. This is marketing for our company. I mean, technically the blueprint's productized too. Like we're not coming in and doing custom work for people. You guys are coming in with a set agenda, set price. Everyone's getting the same thing. It's just depending on where your level is, you're going to use the product differently. You're going to use the program differently, right? But like our marketing isn't productized. Everything we do here is very high touch, obviously. So I don't know if Casper, if that answered your question. If not, please restate. David said, death to retainers. Hell yeah. Best designer in the game. Abby says, do the Weber's clients question you guys for selling the, no, do the Weber's clients question you guys for selling the process they pay you for? Absolutely not. They pat me on the back because I'm about that money. You know what I'm saying? I run a business to make money. My clients run businesses to make money. What's wrong with going out and making money? You know what I'm saying? And if they want to, if they don't want to pay us, the retainer, to do it, then they can come to the blueprint. They can learn how to do it themselves. But most companies don't want to do it themselves, right? Most agencies do want to do it themselves because you have to deliver this. So that's why you're willing to pay for more of a training and coaching based, consulting based program. But like our clients, that's actually a huge selling point. When clients come to us and I'm like, yeah, we run our own businesses. Yeah, everything that we do here, we take and we also sell. We don't use our clients' information, but we sell these processes because like that's how valuable they are. Like people are willing to pay us 10 grand for a set of documents and videos because it makes them that much money. Like imagine if we, the originators of these documents, were doing it for you. It's an easy pitch. And then they're like, oh, okay, damn, like you have all these other agencies who are using your system, paying you a lot of money for it, making millions of dollars a year in revenue for the blueprint. it must be pretty good. So that's the answer to that one, Abby. Casper asked, do you see any different disadvantages offering both sprints and retainers, even done with the options as well? No, not at all, right? I mean, like, Casper, I tend to harp on like one service, one problem, one client, because most of the agencies in here are small. But if you're an agency doing like 50 million or plus a year, then you're going to have multiple offers. You're going to have multiple productized services, right? You're going to have multiple parts of the market that you attack. So you can productize everything. You can productize an SEO, you can productize email marketing, you can productize all these different things. You just go through the same process for each one of those services, or you can combine them, right? Good example, this is Brendan Hufford, one of our coaches here. He has his own agency. It's called Growth Sprints. Literally took everything that we do, right? And he'll do the first minute. And last month, he told me he did 70 grand last month. So what he did is he targets SaaS companies too. And he took our sprints process and said, this is really good, but SaaS companies also use chatbots a lot. And I noticed they don't know how they're doing it. So I'm going to throw chatbot optimization into our core sprint process. So he does the same sprints that we do, but he also has a chatbot optimization in there, which customizes the sprint more to that company and also adds another level of conversion value to that, which allows him to charge, I think he charges like 25 grand for a sprint package. Mitchell asked, how long does a website content sprint take in ballpark cost? So each content brief that we charge in packets of 10 briefs, each brief takes us an hour and a half to 2 hours. So about 20 hours to deliver, which we usually got done in 7 to 10 business days for 10 sprints. 20 actually doesn't take us that much longer because we're doing it in kind of the same package. So, just we know our costs internally, which is another really good part of productization, is that I know exactly how long everything takes. So I know exactly how much everything costs. So I know exactly what my margins are. I bet every single person, every single dollar in my bank account in here, that there's not a single person here that can tell me exactly how much their labor costs and exactly what their gross margin is on their service. What that means is, how much does it cost you to deliver your service? I guarantee you every single person in here is doing money in, money out accounting, which is why you're not making as much money as you thought. That's why your profits stink, because you're throwing shit against the wall. You have a client being like, oh, hey, Ryan, like, it's month 7 and like you haven't really checked in with us lately. So I'm going to throw this on top of you too. And you're like, okay, I want to keep this client happy, so I'm going to do it. And you take it from them. And now you're spending your time and energy, your team's time and energy. That's eroding your margins. I guarantee you that is a silent killer for why a lot of you guys are not making more money. You're not making more profits because you're not tracking these things. How can you track it? I'm not chastising you. I'm just telling you what it is. Like, how can you track if you're doing something different every time? You can't. So you don't actually know what your labor costs are. You don't have a handle on your team, your staff, and your time, and it cuts into your margins. And like, that's why at the end of the year, you're like, oh, I didn't really make that much money this year because you did a bunch of spec work for clients and they took advantage of you, and all to satisfy that part of fear in your brain that's like, I can't get rid of these retainers because I can't eat next month, instead of being like, yo, I'm the best in the world at what I do, and I'm going to do such a good job that everyone's going to refer to me. Like, have confidence in yourself, have confidence in your service. Otherwise, get out of the business. Like, if you can't look yourself and your prospects in the mirror and be like, yo, fuck those other people, I'm the best for the job, I'm the best in the world at this, then you're in the wrong business. And it's not really going to work out for you. Pardon my French. I'm fired up today. I had a lot of coffee, right? There's 2 shots of espresso in here. I don't usually drink this much coffee, but I was tired today. My dog is sick and he had diarrhea all over the house all last night. So I was picking that up today too. It's not fun. Anyways, TMI. Joshua Daniels asked, do you hire PMs offshore with SEO experience, or do you train them from scratch? So we actually don't have PMs. We only have link building PMs, and I pluck them from, they have to have SEO experience. I don't want to train people on like, what is SEO and this type of stuff. Most people should be able to grasp at least basic SEO concepts. And then I retrain them on our processes. I retrain them on how to deliver our business model. So let me know if that makes sense. So Hector, you said that situation you just explained about retainers is the exact situation you're dealing with the majority of your customers, but you're still unsure if productizing and scaling to more customers and more employees is better than remaining in my current situation with a small number of high-paying clients. Why not do both? Why not get a large number of high-paying clients? Like, just because I'm doing sprints, think about it this way, right? If you're a business and I come to you and I'm like, hey, like, I want you to pay me 10 grand a month to do SEO, you put me on a retainer. And then on the other hand, I come to you you're pitching somebody and I'm like, yo, like, yeah, that's good and great, but like, I can get that done in 3 weeks for 40 grand, a lot faster. I think you guys are thinking about this wrong. I think you guys are thinking about it again from a place of fear instead of a place of confidence. Like, you're you're standing in your own way with that. And I'm not saying anything bad about retainers. You know what I'm saying? Like most agencies in the world use it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying like the people in this conversation here, guys, like we're all small fish. We're not those massive agencies that are doing 50 million plus per year. So we have to take a different approach to compete. And like, again, part of that, I know, I get it. I know what it feels like to be a small fish. Like you got to remove that part of fear from your brain. And like, at the end of the day, is putting a client on a retainer every single month what's best for that client? Is that going to help them get results faster? Is that going to get them results better? You know the answer to that. The answer is no. The same question, is that what's best for your company, for your staff, for your team to put them on an ongoing retainer? It's not. Instead of focusing, guys, it's all about solving a problem for clients. It's not about retainers or sprints. It's about solving that problem. And sprints is a productized service is a faster and easier and just better mousetrap. That's really what this comes down to, is that like the agency model, guys, like at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to do anything, right? Go out there and get your money, get your paper, right? I'm not telling you not to. You do what works for you. I'm just trying to give you something that's worked dramatically well for us and a lot of our clients here at the Blueprint Training. And part of that, and I don't need to get all like Tony Robbins on you, is like removing some of these limiting beliefs about yourself and about your skill set and about who you are and what you do and the value and the impact that you can provide. Like you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that if a client works with you, then you're going to do everything in your power because your process is so tight and you spent so much time developing that process and you've run that process so many times over and over and over again, as opposed to trying to be like, never done email marketing before, but I think I could. Like that's a lack of confidence, man. Nobody wants to buy from you for that. You know what I'm saying? So like, to answer your question, Casper, or whoever asked it, like we charge a lot for our sprints. Just because they're sprints doesn't mean it's cheap work, right? Like don't get it twisted. Because we're doing less work doesn't mean that we're a cheaper agency at all. You know what I'm saying? We price ourselves out of most deals. We can't work with small businesses because we're too expensive, but that's because we get results, we get impact, we make people money, and when you make people money, that anchor of like, hey, an ROI, you can anchor the cost of your services against that, right? So instead of like coming up with a retainer based on how much time you have to spend on something, like, oh, we have to do all these deliverables over a 12-month period because we have to invest more and more time to keep this client happy. It's like, no, that's the wrong way to price your services. You're pricing yourself into low profit margins. You're pricing yourself into headache. You're literally putting yourself in a situation of where you have to work nonstop just to get paid, as opposed to you're hiring us to get you more organic traffic. That organic traffic has a set value to you based on the keywords that you're competing for in your business and what those mean to your business. So we're going to sprint this work out and we're going to get you those results. And our costs are anchored against those expected results, not against all these deliverables that you don't even want. Like a client doesn't want to sit there and look through a freaking spreadsheet every week about like keywords. Like you don't even want to do it. So why would the client want to do it? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, damn, a lot of questions came in. Let me get back through here. Steve, what link building vendors do you like? We have a couple that we use inside the Blueprint Training that you can check out. Simon asked, I'm late to this, but curious to understand more. We have many clients on retainer, most of 3 years plus, and it works for us and the clients. Why depth retainers? Okay. I'm not saying depth retainers, right? Those are not my words. Those are coming from the comments. And in that case, keep them, right? Like I'm not telling anyone, like if you missed the part of the pitch where we switched to this productized service, right? We had clients on retainer that we still have on retainer, right? But those are the clients that, to your point, Steve, are like, they're cool, they're chill, like they're not busting our balls, like they're getting more traffic, they're getting more results, so they're happy to pay the retainer every month. They're not busting our balls. We keep those clients on retainer, and then sometimes if it calls for a retainer, then we will sell them on a retainer. Guys, essentially what a retainer means is that they're paying you a set amount every month for a set amount of work, right? All I'm saying is that like that's not the best business model for them and for you, right? If it works for you, I'm not telling you to do it, but I am telling you, if you develop a productized service and sell that against your retainers, you're going to grow faster. You're going to sell more. Your clients are going to be happier and you can still sell more of them, right? So for example, right, we focus on selling our strategy sprint for $3,500 to $10,000 for a piece of strategy. After that, our resell rate is 80% for content and links. So again, you take your retainer over 12 months, over 2 years, and you look at all the things that you're doing a ton of stuff that's not necessary, only to satisfy the happiness, quote unquote, of the client who's paying your retainer and is expecting something on an ongoing basis. Where I'm saying I'm probably charging the same amount per year for you and doing a quarter of the work because the client's not sitting there every month looking for a report, looking for insights, looking for you to go through their GSC to find non-existent shit that's not going to actually get them more, make them more money. You see what I'm saying? So we have clients on retainer who are chill, but like that's, as we know, 25% of your clients are going to be like that. The other 75% is going to be a mixed bag of people who complain, of people who are asking for more, of people who are blah, 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 all sitting there watching the clock. When somebody's paying you every month, like we do 3 weeks, we do what you do in probably 3 months, right? So we get in 3 weeks and we get out and we're done. We're paid for the same amount almost that you got paid for those 3 months. But we don't have those ongoing conversations with the client where they're like, hey, Ryan, like it's been 3 months. Where's our traffic? We don't have that because we're not engaged at that point, right? And we are in a sense that we're there and we're sending a monthly report every month. But we don't get on a call with them and review it and like give them insights. We don't do that. So we then resell them more content and links, and it extends our LTV, our yearly value of that client, but we're not sitting there on the hooks, right? So guys, I'm not telling you to like get off retainers. I'm not saying death to retainers. It's a viable business model. All I'm saying is that, man, the game has changed, especially for us smaller agencies. Like, who wants to pay for 12 months worth of work off of nothing? Do you? How many, like, raise your hands in here, guys. How many people here hire vendors themselves? Have you ever hired a marketing agency? Have you ever hired people who do ads? I have all the time. We spend over $50,000 a month on our two businesses in terms of ads, in terms of media buyers, in terms of content writers. And I can tell you firsthand, like I'm not going to pay 12 months in advance for something. Like it's just not going to happen. You know, it's a very hard sell. So you're just making it harder for yourself than it really needs to be. So I'm not saying death to retainers, but I am saying that there's a better way. There's an easier way. And it doesn't mean taking money out of your pocket. It doesn't mean doing less work for your client or doing what's worse for your client. It's a better fit. It's just a better mousetrap because the game has changed, man. It's a different world. I mean, shit, look around. It's not the same world that it was 5 years ago, right? That applies to everything that we do. That applies to how we service our clients too. So like when everyone's zigging and you zag, you're going to make more money. That's just what it is, you know? All right. Let me see. I lost some questions in here. So Simon, let me know if that answers your question. No, I can't. Thank you, Abby. I appreciate that you like our blog content. I'm still going to create more content based on the SEO stuff. That's what I'm doing right now, right? Just because it's not going to be on my main channel, but on the Blueprint channel. Then yeah, please everyone, by the way, subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Creative said, I like this version of Ryan for sure. Can I send you 2 Grande Croft? Yes, you can. Send me whatever you want. I like gifts. Mitchell asked, is the content the same from the sprints course and the paperback book you sell on Amazon? No, it's not at all. The paperback book was based on much more of a 6 to 12 month retainer stuff that we were doing, 4 or 5 years ago. Again, this sprint model is something that we've developed in the last 2.5 years. After I sold my agency and after I looked at so another context too, guys, I've sold an agency before, right? And I've been in agencies of all sizes, agencies that are charging $1 million a month, agencies that are charging $500 a month. I've seen pretty much everything that there is to see in this SEO agency game, which is why I feel confident enough to tell you that this is just a better mousetrap, right? Like when I sold my agency, right? It was kind of an acqui-hire. I went over there. All of a sudden, we had 40 people. Almost 8 figures of revenue. It was big. We were doing pretty well, but it fell apart, and it fell apart because of everything that I've just said here. And I ended up leaving that agency, and I left with nothing. No people, no clients, nothing. I had to start from the ground up. And people obviously come to me all the time. They want me to do their marketing. So it was very easy for me to kind of pick up some additional clients. And I started doing the same thing, the 12-month retainers, this and that. And I was like, why? Like, this is too much. I don't want to do the work anymore. I don't want to like be on client calls. And I want to hire one person to do this for me. And that's really where this came from. I'm like, I'm not going to do all this work anymore. I can't build a business if I'm doing the work. And so many of y'all are sitting here being like, why do you get off retainers? Like, because you're still doing work. You're stuck doing, like, if you're not an agency owner if you do work for clients. You're not an agency owner if you sit on client calls. You're not an agency owner if you take sales calls, right? You're an agency employee. That's just what it is. I know a lot of you take that personally, and good. I'm glad you do, because it's meant to get you riled up. It's meant to get you thinking. It's meant to get you thinking differently, because so many agencies out there are doing everything. You're trying to market, you're trying to sell, you're trying to do strategy work, you're trying to hide, like, you can't do it all. You can't actually build a business, a real business, where you can step back and make money and go to the beach for a day and make money and have your team be good and have your team take time off and have people leave and turnover. You don't, until you can take that giant step back and be able to deal with it like a real owner, you don't have a business. You have a job that's probably paying you less than your last one too when you really look at it, because of all the time and energy that you put into it, all the stress that you put into it, all the bullshit that you have to deal with. So like, all I'm saying is that I hope some of you out there, I hope some of this is rubbing you wrong, so that way you can start to think a little bit differently about it, right? And you can blame me for it, you can get mad at me, whatever. But like, that's just what it is. Like, if you're stuck in the business doing the work, you have a job. That's just what it is. I don't know how else to put it. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's just a lot of where like, and I get fired up about this stuff. I love talking about it. I would never disrespect any of you guys. I love all of you. The fact that you guys are here, I love you. I respect you. I fuck with you. Right? We're paisanos. We're cut from the same cloth. But like, I feel the need to tell you what I know because I've been through it, man. I started with nothing. I built it up. I sold it and went back to nothing and built it back up again. Like, I've seen everything that there is in between. And like, I'm here preaching this because I know that this works. Yes, other ways work too. But like, there's a lot of issues with that too. And I can tell you first and foremost, like, this is just a better business model. It's a better mousetrap. And if you look, actually, there's a tweet from Mike King of iPullRank, which is one of the largest technical SEO agencies in the world. And I tweeted something about, I wish I had it to pull up. I tweeted something about Productize service, and he responded. He said, 100%. When we productize our service, our agency took off. Like, we've been productized forever. He does very advanced forensic technical SEO. Mike King, iPullRank, probably one of the most brilliant SEO minds in the world. He runs a productized service. Chris Dreyer, who runs a $50 million SEO agency, runs a productized service. All these people run productized service. It's not like I didn't invent this. I'm just a huge champion of it. I'm the one talking about it because a lot of people that have worked for them, they're not going to go out there and tell people about it, but I am. I mean, I get paid to do it, obviously, in Brooklyn, but that's just what it is. Like, I'm here to champion this business model because it's better and it's easier. All that whatnot. Wow, more questions coming in. We on a roll today. I'm gonna keep going as long as questions keep coming in. Casper asked again, or stated, I think, guys, it's really about scope. Not all clients need lots of work every month. Sometimes it's that works too. Sometimes there's some parts of SEO campaign done. That's fine. But again, Casper, what you're doing there is you're selling a different service. If you're stripping it down, if you're changing, if you're adding, you're subtracting, that's custom work, and you're not getting compensated for it. So if you're doing custom work, if you're doing something different for every client, are you charging top dollar for it? That's the question I phrased to you. If you have to change your service, you should be tripling your price. If you have to change anything of your service, you should be tripling your price, period. Because if somebody wants custom work, I tell the consulting clients that I have, I tell them, if you want me to get on a phone call with a client, you are going to pay me $5,000 for a phone call. That's what it is, because that's how much that's worth to me, taking me away from my other businesses, taking me away from my time. If you want any bit of customization to this, you're going to pay for it. That's just, there's no way around it. You want different links, you're going to pay triple for it. You want a forensic technical SEO audit, you're going to pay triple for it. Or we're probably not even going to do it. Like, we actually just had a Fortune 50 client come to us wanting forensic technical SEO, and they wanted to speak to a consultant every week. And we were like, hell no, we're not going to do that. I don't care how much it pays. Like, we're not going to do that. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. That's not what we want to service. And because of that, we grow comfortably. Because of that, I don't have my team running around. Because of that, my director of operations is having his second baby in 2 years, and he can take 4 to 6 months off completely and not have an interrupt in our business, right? That's like the power of this stuff, right? The power of saying, no, you've heard it before. Like, when somebody comes to you, Casper, and they're like, no, we don't want that. We want to do this. We want you to do this for us. And you say, that's not what we like. I tell people all the time. I tell more people no than not. And you know what happens when you tell people no? They want it 10 times as much. It's such a weird phenomenon with human beings. You tell someone that I see this with my wife all the time. Right? Here's a perfect example. Last night we were going to order Uber Eats, and I was like, hey, this is kind of what I want. She's like, oh, fine, whatever, and as soon as we get there, they closed while they closed while we were ordering it. And then all of a sudden she was like, fuck, man, I really want it. I'm like, no, you didn't. You only want it because you can't have it. It's such a weird human psychology phenomenon. When you tell someone, they're going to want it more. So when somebody comes to you and we're like, we want to do this, and we're like, no, that's not what we do. I'm sorry. You're not actually telling them no. You're negotiating. It's part of the game, right? Brian asked, for outsourcing link building, can you share the company you use or the ongoing rate? It's all in the blueprint training, man. There's certain parts of this that I can't give away. And the reason I say that too is because we have a very specific process that we use. It's all in our sprints program, and we're tied to those companies. So I don't promote them for free, because otherwise, I gotta make money. My dog is sick. He's got diarrhea. I gotta take him to the vet. You know how expensive the vet is for a 10-pound dog? It's expensive. I'm kidding. Feeling funny today. Batone Sopa asked, how do you calculate the price for deliverables considering the different size scale of websites? That's a great question. We know our costs. So we actually just posted a video on this YouTube channel. Make sure to check it out. It's about how to price your agency services, right? So the core of all of our pricing is based on how much time it takes us to do something, right? So we have everything tracked. We track all of our team's time. I know exactly down to the second how long it takes to do deliverables. I know exactly down to the second how long it takes to do every single deliverable that we do. So we start with that. So we're always at least break even on everything that we do. But then on top of that, what we do, and this is like, we have a floor cost of what we can charge. And I would never, that floor cost is not how much time it takes. It's actually, we then tack on 50% of that. That's like our kind of imputed margin. That's our value margin. And then we're always working on increasing that 50%. So as we work more and more with software companies, the traffic is more and more valuable to them. We're able to not increase the time it takes us to do deliverables, not do new deliverables, but just charge more based on the value, based on the impact that we're having, because that industry, like a coffee shop, for example, like you can't exponentially scale the value with a coffee shop because they're only going to grow to a certain point, but a software company can grow and scale exponentially. So as we grow and scale with them, the value of what we're doing grows and scales. Not the time, not adding more deliverables, not being like, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this. No, the impact, the value of the output of what we're doing grows because of who we're working with, right? So you always want to be going up market as an agency. And again, this is a huge fallacy when it comes to retainers. You're like, how do I charge more? Well, I saw this really cool headline on Search Engine Journal that was talking about Python. Why don't we do this new deliverable that we have no idea how to do, but it sounds really cool and it's going to make me feel good about myself and it's going to make me feel important because I saw it on Search Engine Journal, as opposed to being like, how can I make my client more? How can I make my client more of what they're paying us to do? How can I make them more SQLs? How can I make them more? It's not by doing more, it's by doing better what you're already doing. That's the beauty of this model, is that you never have to do more. You don't have to be like this crazy like savant SEO that is like speaking at all these conferences. No, you have to know how to solve one problem for one type of client, and you continuously go up market with the problem that you're solving, the client that you're solving it for. That's how you make more. You don't have to change what you're doing. You don't have to add more, right? Of course, you can add more as you go up market. A good example of that might be like, I don't know, like adding in what Brendan did, right? Like adding in like chatbot maintenance. You can productize that super easy without having to have a ton of knowledge or experience, but you're exponentially increasing the value by helping them convert. You're driving traffic, now you're helping them convert. So you can just continuously tack on, very low impact, very low effort things that are having a high impact for the client, right? Hope I answered that for y'all. So Nick D just said, the sprint model was a blinding flash of obvious for me. I signed up a few weeks ago. The content is fabulous, genuinely worth the investment. I'm going to read that last part again, genuinely worth the investment. For any of y'all that are out here enjoying yourselves, I'm happy to help. But if you want to make some real money, sign up. You can talk to Ann, she'll get you taken care of. What we got. Thank you for that, Nick. I appreciate that, brother. How I bet the link building vendors. Again, that's all within the Blueprint Sprint program. I have a checklist for you. It's really dope. I teach you exactly how to do it. I teach you how to hire a link PM, a vendor. Literally, if you are struggling with link building, how much is that worth to you? Realistically, right? It's worth the price of admission just to solve that, because you're spinning your wheels, you're doing outreach, you're trying to figure things out, you're maybe burning website. Like, we have a system and a process. We have never gotten a client penalized. All we do is make our clients more money by getting them more traffic. By getting, part of that is getting them really good links and being profitable on those links. We make 50% on every link. We buy links from people. We don't like buy links from people. They give us a list. We vet them. We have a very strict process that we push a VA to do, which our program will teach a VA how to do that for you, literally for you. We'll give you the vendors. We actually give you coupons for those folks too, because we have such a good relationship. And that's why I don't want to tell you the vendors, because I'm taking money out of my pocket by giving you a free recommendation. I'm sorry. However, we use the vendors. We're actually bringing in one of those vendors to give a presentation only to Sprints members to give you a whole update on link building in 2022. I actually just sat down with them. He was in Miami last week. They're going to do about 25 million in revenue this year, just selling links and doing PR services. And he's got a ton of insights on what works in link building. That's the type of stuff you get access to inside the Blueprint program. So we have all that for you, including a checklist that's like, here's exactly, literally checklist. Check this, check this, check this, boom, bad link, good link. This is what it's worth. This is what we should pay for it. This is how much we can charge the client for it, etc. It's all in the Blueprint. Abby asked, everyone starts at the beginning. How did you manage to build an agency from being a freelancer? The same way everyone does it, I would imagine. Like I started hustling Craigslist 12 years ago, picking up leads where I could, and then just continuously learning and growing. I mean, that's like one of the reasons why I've been teaching and coaching SEO agencies for almost 6 years now, which is pretty crazy. I started with link building training, right? But like you go up market, you get better results, and you charge more. You get more clients, you get better results. It snowballs. It's really one of those things where it's kind of cliche, but like the more you're in business, like one of the biggest things I always tell, like when I do one-on-one coaching with agency owners, one of the biggest things I tell people, I hate to go like Gary Vee, but like it's patience, man. Like continuously putting one foot in front of the other and walking in the right direction, you'll walk up a mountain over time. You know, sometimes it's hard to see that, right? But you got to have the patience and you got to have the confidence. So I'm so big on confidence, guys. Like if you can confidently walk forward in the right direction, you have the right path, which we give you here at the Blueprint Training, literally to a T, the exact path you need to grow a 7-figure SEO agency. If you keep walking that and you are patient with yourself, you're patient with everything, your business is going to grow over time. It's really, really like it's not a can't miss situation, but like everyone who sits where I am will tell you the exact same thing. I promise. I am not involved with CIFL anymore. Stephen, David actually, he took a job at another company, a very good job. And we decided to kind of fold that. Basically just took everything within CFL and kind of folded into Blueprint and some stuff in Weber's. Okay. Somebody said you were not getting out of that vet office today for less than 300. It's crazy, man. I'll tell you what, forget running an agency, go start a vet, because it's literally like you walk in there and like, yeah, it's gonna be $400. I'm like, for what? They're like, for breathing our fucking air. It's crazy. And then this poor dog, man, this poor dog's been sick for like 3 days. He's got like this crazy rash on him, and they like investigated his ears and gave us eardrops. We were like, no, did you not see the rash? And you know what they told us? They told us, no, he can't talk to us. I'm not, I can't, you can't even make this shit up. Which is true in all fairness, but I'm like, yo, like you couldn't have just like inspected him. He's a sausage dog. He's this big. It's not like a friggin' massive dog. Anyways, Ikra asked, hey Ryan, great session going. Appreciate it. I'm new in the SEO industry. What would be the right path for a newbie to master SEO and run your own SEO agency later? Go take a job somewhere at an agency. Or like as a contractor, as a freelancer, you got to hone your skills. Like 2 years of honing your skills before you can start taking on clients. There are plenty of people here that would love to hire you. And if you don't even know where to start, like you start on your own. Build a WordPress website, try and rank it. Like do it all yourself, right? Like build yourself into the person that you want to be, into the business that you want to be. Brody asked, does the content you produce go through internal review with clients? How does that impact the track time? We don't write content for clients. We do content briefs. So we are actually rolling out a content writing service. But again, we're going premium. You're not paying it. It's going to be starting at $1,500 per page just to write the content, upwards of like $5,000 per page if you want to get into like UX design and stuff like that. So we charge $350 per content brief, right? And we sell those in packages of 10. We're then going to be rolling out a content writing service where we'll be selling 5 pieces of content for, my math is terrible, well, it's like $7,500, right? So we'll position those two against each other, right? So if you want it done for you, it's going to cost more. And that comes with 2 sets of revisions, right? We're still working out what that's going to look like, but that's Productize as well. And the track time for that, Brody, is a little bit different because in that case, we're paying a writer a set fee, right? So when you're paying somebody a set cost like links, we don't really track the time for the vendor to get the links because the writer is responsible for their own time. It's more about, are they hitting the deliverables? So we're not really worried about tracking their time per se, because we're paying them $500 per page, right? You're getting $500 to write this post. It could be $1,500, $2,500. You know, you can charge us up or down depending on that, whatever that looks like. So it's not really about time. It's more about kind of like the size of that. Casper asked, I'm operating in Denmark. Is the Blueprint a good fit? Yeah, the Blueprint's a good fit for any SEO agency. Come on now. Don't set me up like that. Of course, I'm going to try and sell you on it. It's great. Ask anybody. I'll tell you. Last question here, because we went over here. Do you guys still pitch for new business or just send generic commercial proposals? Yeah, we always pitch for new business, but the proposals template, I mean, we'll customize the beginning part of it. We do what's this is in the Blueprint. We do what's called a top 10 analysis. We're basically looking for 10 opportunities and issues that takes less than an hour for our salesperson to put together. And then we'll put that into a template proposal and we'll run them through it along with our traffic projection analysis, which again, you can only get through the Blueprint training. So that's it, y'all. I appreciate all of your time and attention. If you are still here, you are not in the Blueprint training, what are you even doing with your life? You're missing out on money. Hit up and go to our website, theblueprint.training, hit that big yellow button up in the right-hand corner that says get started. You can talk to one of our growth specialists. We'll talk about you. We'll talk about your agency. We'll talk about how we can help you make more money and achieve your goals. That's really what it comes down to. So again, I appreciate all of you very much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you tuning in and taking time.